Namaste, namaskaram, vanakkam, namo namaha, Jai Ganesha. Please visit our website at classicalyoga.org. And if you'd like, subscribe to our podcast. Stand up for the Hindu yoga dharma. What is the purpose of a Hindu mandir, temple, ashram? In life in general, we all have our individual pursuits, but in most every aspect of life, there are also places where people gather collectively regarding their specific interests. For example, lots of kids can play football and baseball and basketball in their backyards, so to speak. But we have community-dedicated stadiums, etc., where large groups of people gather to play these sports and to witness these sports. Schools, universities are mass buildings and edifices where people gather together with similar interests. Though, of course, we could all study at home and should study at home as well. So it's not unusual that in religion it is exactly the same. Every individual that's interested in the religious spiritual realm obviously must follow their individual pursuits, whether it be just on a lonely walk with oneself or with others, or in moments of contemplation, perhaps various rituals in the home. But every religion of the world has also developed community places where people worship, be it a church, a temple, a mosque, a synagogue, some special area in nature, for example. So this is a very common experience. Interestingly, in Hinduism, there are many who have the belief, and this might go across the board with the various religions of the world, that all one simply needs to do is do their devotions within their self, within their home, within their own family. And this, of course, must be done. But to not recognize the need and the wisdom of having a place where the community can gather is unenlightened at best and actually probably pretty selfish. So what is the purpose of a Hindu temple, ashram, mandir? Well, for one thing, it is a place where the community can gather and share a like interest in the Hindu yoga religion, Hinduism, the Hindu dharma. On a similar note, the phony yoga of today, they also have their yoga studios where they gather in mass, though they're doing their so-called yoga at home. So, simply as a gathering place, it increases the energy, just like people who go to a football stadium, for example. The energy is really elevated when people get together with a like interest. So, too, in any religious edifice, and certainly, too, in the Hindu temple, there is a greater energy there. Now, in a sense, the Hindu temple is rather unique in the sense that there is a community expression, but when one goes to a Hindu mandir temple, for example, they are really going to have a one-on-one contact with the various deities that are represented there and feel the holy vibration and Shakti of the place. And you've probably heard the phrase holy ground. And what that essentially means is that a place becomes so saturated with the vibration there that one can actually feel it. And this would go across the board, even in the secular world. You go into an auditorium, the Lincoln Center, for example, you feel a certain vibration if you're sensitive to it. You go to a museum, you feel a certain vibration there. So too, in a Hindu temple, mandir, one should feel a certain vibration because of the constant devotion that goes on there. Remember, in a Hindu temple, mandir, the services go on 7 days a week, 24/7, 365 days out of the year. This is to keep the vibration strong and shows a strong devotion to the Hindu yoga and dharma, to this bhakti yoga. So the Hindu temples also provide, many of them, a place to learn. They may have a separate place in the temple where they teach classes. And this, in a sense, is what is the difference between a Hindu temple or mandir and ashram. An ashram is a place where one specifically learns. about the Hindu yoga dharma. And it may also be a temple. And certainly all ashrams will have some manner of a shrine somewhere in the ashram. When Hindus go to the temple, the Mandir, the individual helps the group and the group helps the individual. Increases their desire to learn, to participate in the dharma, which brings about a deeper understanding and experience of the Hindu yoga dharma. But as in all religious organizations, many temples also do community outreach. They may serve the community in various ways. And certainly in a Hindu temple, there's always food. So no one goes away without a little something, whether it be a piece of fruit, a parsad, or a flower. But often there's a food offering. And so the temples reach out to the community and may help in many ways to feed, and especially if in the larger mandirs, they may help the elderly, the sick. So again, this is a very unselfish thing to support the Hindu mandirs and temples and ashrams for the great outreach that they do. If the temples and the mandirs and the ashrams, they have no support, they will just fall into disarray. So again, this shows a basic selfishness of many Hindus who will often repeat the cliche, well, we can do this at home. Well, yes, and you should do it at home. But if you don't respect the community gathering, the mandir, then one is actually being very selfish. And just think of the worst extreme scenario when we have no more temples and ashrams, then the religion basically can completely fall apart if that has no presence in the world. So there's a great outreach that many of the mandirs and the ashrams do. And again, for those who think that they can simply stay home and do their pujas and that's all we need, we don't need the temples, etc., well then, are you going to open up your home to people who want to come and worship? Are you going to open up your home to perhaps new people who want to learn something about the Hindu yoga dharma? This is the beauty of having a community central place where people can meet. New people perhaps are interested in the Hindu yoga dharma, and they're not going to come knocking on your door, come into your puja room. They're going to go to an ashram, to a mandir, and seek learning. So it's way past time for Hindus to understand the wisdom of erecting our Hindu temple, mandirs, ashrams, and then also participating in them and financially, in person, because the devout Hindu realizes that a Hindu mandir is a very special place. It's not simply a building. Pujas go on there every day, 7 days a week. And there's a purpose behind it. This is actually to bring the spirit beings into that place. So a person who's sensitive enough when they walk into a Hindu mandir or ashram, they should feel something very different there. And it is our mystical belief and understanding that the devas actually see these people and they carry the vibration home with them. And when they light their diya in their home puja room, it helps to bring the Shakti or the vibration of the mandir into their home and repeat it very often, at least once a week. My goodness, this is not too much to ask. All of the Christian temples there and churches, they have great participation there, and that's why they're so successful. It's not for nothing that Christianity, the youngest of the world's religions, along with Islam, are the most heavily populated, because their people take their religion very seriously. Many Hindus do not. And they rarely, if ever, come to the mandirs or the ashrams. So there is a great mysticism there that, unfortunately, many Hindus don't quite get, is that when they come to a Hindu mandir, they should come with a certain protocol. They should treat it as a very special place. They shouldn't come in jeans and their work clothes and just kind of on the spur of the moment without any preparation or forethought. And so a devout Hindu will prepare themselves for the holy visit, the sacred visit to a Hindu mandir, ashram. They'll bathe, they'll put on proper clothing, they'll bring a food offering, perhaps some flowers, and then when they approach the mandir, the ashram, they will treat it very respectfully. They'll bow. Obviously, we all take our shoes off. We bow to the different deities. We do pranams to the holy people there, perhaps. We leave a donation, a dakshina, an offering so that the temple can continue to survive, the ashram can survive. So there's a great beauty and understanding by those sensitive enough to pick up on the holy vibrations that should emanate from a Hindu mandir or ashram. So, dear Hindus, this year as we walk the walk, that's our theme from Ganesh Chaturthi, let us take our Hindu mandirs and ashrams much more seriously. Go to them. Provide for them financially. Respect them. For if we don't, the Hindu Yoga Dharma, it can disappear. Whole civilization have disappeared. And if we become lazy Hindus, we truly lose zero yoga, etc., etc., etc. If we don't stand up for the Dharma, there'll be plenty of people ready to simply take from us as they have done for thousands of years. So stand up for the Hindu Yoga Dharma. Stand up for the Hindu mandirs and ashrams. Jai Ganesha, Jai Hindu Yoga Dharma.